Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's Sarah here, and today we are doing another speed build and we are back in Sulani for this one. So the build that we're doing today, I am super excited to share with you guys because I really enjoyed building it and it's really different than anything I've ever built before, so it was a little bit of a challenge and I really was happy with the way it turned out, so I hope you guys enjoy it also. So you've probably already seen from the thumbnail that what we're building is a circular beach house, and as you can see right now I'm kind of using these room divider panels to kind of make the walls. So I had seen Kate Emerald's tutorial on how to use windows and the tool mod to make curved rooms and curved walls and stuff like that, and of course they're absolutely beautiful and I loved that idea. So then I saw this picture on Pinterest that was a curved, well not a curved but a circular beach house, and it was so beautiful and I really wanted to do something like it, and I remembered these panels that came with the Island Living, which I think are really beautiful also just on their own, and I thought, well, it would be worth giving it a try. So that's what we were going for, was just a circular look. And of course it doesn't really look like the picture that inspired it because that picture had a lot more windows, and of course it didn't have any design like this. It was just really modern and sleek and just really beautiful, but I still wanted to give it a go and I am happy with the way it turned out. So what we're doing right now is we're just making the walls of the build, and that's one thing. I don't actually have the seasons pack, so I don't know if this would affect your Sims, the weather would affect your Sims with this build. I bet it probably would, just because they're not actual walls. The only part of this build that is actually enclosed with walls is just the bathroom, and it's pretty small, so the weather probably would affect your Sims, but I am not 100% sure on that. But anyway, like I said, we're just finishing up the walls right now, and I do cut out a little bit. This house has 2 stories, and I do cut out the 3rd layer of building this just because it kind of got repetitive and you guys can see kind of what it was taking. So I didn't use the tool mod on these divider panels because they are an object that you can rotate freely with the move objects cheat. So I just went on and I found it was easier for me just to rotate them that way and kind of fit them in like that, because I was really struggling to get them to match to the foundation using the tool mod. So I do use the tool mod later in the build, but for this part I actually just rotated the objects. So in this little area we're going to put a window because it was too small for another divider, but it needed something, and I actually really like the way it turned out. And so now we're going to be moving on to kind of starting out decorating the outside. Mainly I just put the flooring down and the wallpaper for this section because that's really the only walls, like I said, other than the bathroom. And so as you can see now, kind of on the bottom of the screen, there's another little section of the panels, and I did cut that out because while I was building that I had to change it several times. I kept struggling with it, and I had to change it at least twice, and it took forever. So I did cut that stuff out because it was basically the same thing you guys have already seen building the walls of this house, but basically it's another little kind of piece coming off this house, and that's what the original picture did have, a wall similar to that. So I kind of wanted to recreate that just to give it a little bit more character, but I wasn't super happy with the way it turned out because I really wish I had extended it further to the side, if that makes sense, because it looks a little bit unnatural where I started it out, but I had done it so many times that I didn't want to redo it, so I just left it like that. But I hope it looks good from this angle. There's one angle, if you look at it from the other side, that you can kind of tell that it looks kind of weird and out of place, but from this angle it doesn't look too bad. So I decided not to go back and change that because actually the foundation of that piece, since I couldn't actually put a foundation on there but I did need something, I used shelves and the tool mod to kind of shift the shelves and push them into the ground to kind of make that foundation look, which you can tell I'm covering that up right now because even though it does work, just the more covered up it is, the better it looks to me, just because you can kind of see the edges of the shelves and stuff like that. So right now we're just adding in some decorations just to kind of give this area something to have, and this is just purely decorative over there. And then we're gonna go kind of do the same thing on both sides of this pathway. And for this pathway, I actually just used one of the walls from the debug menu. And in my last video, the tiny house for the gardener, I actually did the same thing, but I had built this house first, so that's kind of where I got the idea from it. And it kind of makes a nice little curved path if you use the tool mod to kind of push it into the ground. It looks nice, or I thought it did, so I hope you guys like it also. But I really liked the way it kind of gave me the ability to make a curved path, because I didn't really want to have a really straight path with a house that is a circle. So I was really happy with that too. And now we're just adding in basically the same thing on this side. So this house is built on the 50 by 50 lot in Sulani, so it's a very big lot, and the house itself is not that big. It's actually only houses 2 Sims the way that I made it. There is enough space that you could definitely add more beds and stuff like that, but I didn't want to work with walls a lot just because of the shape of the house, so I just made one really big bedroom. But on this lot, I also wanted to do this part, which you're about to see right now. So I wanted to make a kind of like luxury kind of outdoor bed looking thing, if that makes sense. So I had seen a picture for something similar, and I wanted to kind of make it like this. So I knew that I could use those sticks from the debug menu from Outdoor Retreat for the kind of like holding it up, but I do change that top part. We actually end up using shelves because I thought it looked a little bit neater. So I use the tool mod a lot on this part just to shift things around and angle them and stuff like that. So, and as you can see, I'm using ottomans for the bed part, and I just did that because I didn't want it to have a backboard. And I ended up placing a lot of one of this like really simple white chairs. I just used that to kind of make it look like pillows, and so I just really like the way that looks. I really fell in love with how it looked in the end, although of course it is non-functional. Your Sims can't use it at all, and I kind of knew it would be, but I really wanted to make something that looked like that, and this seemed like the perfect house to put it with because it's very just kind of, it looks very like luxurious to me. So I did go on and put that over there, and I really was happy with the way it looked. And you can see it a little bit closer when the tour comes up later on. So now we're just gonna start out decorating this little deck area, and basically all we put here is just some tables and chairs, and then like maybe a candle I think I put on the table and stuff like that. So it really is just like an outdoor living space. It really doesn't have anything to do out there. It's just seating and stuff. But it seemed like if this house was real, it seemed like that would be a really cool place to sit and kind of just chill out and sit by the water. So that is what that little area is. And I did have to shift a few things around on this area just to make it functional. It's all the same stuff, but I just had to shift a chair around because my Sim would not go the other way to sit on the couch. They only wanted to go one way, so I had to kind of move that over. So now we're going to start on the kitchen, and I feel like I gave this house a pretty big kitchen. It's kind of this whole little area over here is the kitchen and dining area. There is a dining table, but mostly up against this wall is the kitchen, and I kind of knew that I wanted to put the kitchen here because I did feel like I needed a wall to put it up against, if that makes sense, because with the cabinets I felt like I needed something for them to kind of be attached to, if that makes sense, rather than just like a rounded kind of wall. So that is why we put the kitchen here, and we're just adding in some shelves now and some decorations on those shelves. And of course these shelves also came with island living, and I think they're really cool because they have a little bit of clutter on their own. Sometimes I struggle to use them just because their shape is a little bit weird, but I do like how it already has a little bit of clutter built in, so you don't have to worry too much about finding more clutter to put in there. So we are using some debug menus here, also using some bottles and then this coffee bag, and I never can remember exactly which debug items disappear when you place it off the gallery, so hopefully those will stay. I think the bottles definitely stay, but I can't remember if the coffee bags do or not. So now we're just adding some finishing touches to the kitchen area, and we're going to put the dining area right here, like I said. And I just wanted to keep it super simple because the kitchen kind of has a lot going on. So this is just the little dining area, and that's pretty much all the dining. So even though this house isn't super big, it's not terribly small either, but you could get, you could definitely get a few Sims in here if you wanted to. And we're just doing some last minute touches on the kitchen and some last minute decorations, and then I think we're gonna move on to the, there's a reading nook is what I do over here, just like a little chair and a bookshelf, which just seemed like a good little thing for that area. Like I said, it was a little bit tricky once I actually got into this house because I don't normally do builds like this, and so I kind of had to figure out how to make it look lived in, but also those aren't walls, so it was a little bit tricky. And then under the stairs we're just doing a little painting area, and I come back and use those floor tiles from Island Living just because I thought that looked really cool, just having, because you could actually see the ocean underneath kind of that area, so I thought that would be a really cool area to paint in, and so that's what that is. And now we're just doing the living area, which is not super small, but it's not huge either. But we're just placing a couch and some ottomans and plants and stuff like that. And I felt like I had a few spaces that I still had to fill in. So we put in this area, we put a stereo, and then in the other area we put like a seating area for when you kind of come into the house. Oh, actually I didn't realize that we changed that to a statue, so that's not a stereo after all. But so this is the seating area, and there's a stereo, and so I kind of put this little clutter item with the shoes just to kind of make it look like maybe that's somewhere where you could come in and take off your shoes and sit down and do what you needed to do there. And so now we are up to the second floor, and this is where the bedroom and the bathroom is. And so like I said, the bathroom is completely enclosed. I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to be able to work that out or not, but I wasn't sure if I didn't enclose it. I know that a lot of times Sims can get the embarrassment moodlet and stuff like that, so I did want to enclose it if I could. So this is the bathroom, and it's pretty simple. There's not a lot to it. The biggest part of it is probably the counter space, which I had to cut some of that footage out because my camera was bouncing really bad at this point in the build. I think it was because just of the angle that I was at, but it was dropping really bad, and it was extremely frustrating, and I didn't want you guys to have to watch it because I didn't even enjoy it when I was building. So this part was kind of difficult, but basically all it is just a basic bathroom counter with a sink and a mirror, and then we add in a little bit of clutter, just different bathroom clutter items, nothing super special. But like I said, I had a lot of issues on this part with my camera, so we may cut out here in a little bit, but that is pretty much the bathroom. Just gonna add in a little bit of wall decor, and I really love those paintings from Island Living. I feel like I use them too much, but I think they're really beautiful, and they of course fit in really well with the island vibe. So now this is the bedroom part, which of course this is a huge space for a bedroom, so there's a lot of wasted space. And so like I said, if you wanted to use this, you could definitely make more bedrooms if you wanted to. I just didn't want to work with the walls too much. So this area I just made into like a desk area, like a little home office kind of area, and just adding some clutter to the desk. There was nothing special about that part. And then here I just decided, because I was running out of ideas of what else I would put in a bedroom. Like I said, this is way too much space for a bedroom. But so this is basically just like a little tea area, which seems super fancy, but this looks like it would be a really fancy house also. So this has just got the tea brewer and then just a little bit of clutter to kind of make that work. And then I think all the other decoration is just like just decoration, if that makes sense. We do add in a dresser and we're adding in a mirror right there, but basically that is all. This is just all the bedroom, and then like I said, everything else is basically plants and stuff like that. And then we are going to add in a TV, another little TV, and this is play tested and it is functional, and so everything should work. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this build, because this is one that I really enjoyed, and so I hope you guys enjoy also. And I'm going to stop talking because I believe the tour should be coming up pretty soon. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.